talk about the values that drive success. What are those core values that actually drive success for most organizations and for individuals that have been successful in life? Today, I think you need to imbibe some of these core values into your life. And if you have them, you can catapult from one level to another. During the last presidential media chat by December 2015, I recall that the President Muhammad Buhari, was actually talking, and he said, if you want peace, give peace. Now, I actually questioned myself that those agitators, the Biafra agitators, did they actually wanted peace? The man that actually betrayed his woman, or the guy that actually betrayed his girl, does he wanted peace? The Dasukis of this world, and those people who were actually involved in a lot of corruption, they actually wanted peace in the society? That man that actually fought, does he wanted peace? Now, the question is this. If the answers to those questions are something that are mind-boggling to you, let's take it down. Now, what is that thing that actually drives the serenity of human mind to do certain actions that sometimes we see those actions as something that is improbable to society? Is that the result of their driving values, their driving forces, things that actually drive them. So, to you, whatever you're doing, what are those values that actually drive your actions? Now, basically there are two sets of values, the intrinsic values and the extrinsic values. The intrinsic value, naturally, we are all given this equally. Your intrinsic value is not inferior to someone else. You have the same intrinsic value with me and you too. Now, the only thing that actually modifies this intrinsic value is as a result of the society we find ourselves, or as a result of the kind of family that brought us up. Now, imagine a lady that comes up in the northern part of the world, or the northern part of Nigeria, whereby the only thing they know is that sending girls' child to child education for girls is something that you cannot find possible there. In the southeast, you realize that they don't actually send their male child to school. In the southwest, you realize that one thing we've been taught with is just to go to school, and on the other part of it, technical vocational skills are taken away from it. Now, those values actually drive what we have today. And if you check about the successful people in Africa or in Nigeria precisely today, check each region, you will see that this thing has actually driven a couple of people. Now, let's talk about the extrinsic value. The extrinsic values are values that we as a person, regardless of the society we find ourselves, we have actually decided to take them up as things that drive what we want to be. That is, taking your destiny or your fate into your hand, regardless of whatever might have been your intrinsic value or the kind of value that your society brought you up with. Now, I will be sharing some of those values that you can make, or you can actually imbibe them to be part of you, or part of you becoming successful in life. Now, number one, productivity. I remember growing up, and I told my dad once upon a time that I think the witches and the wizards in my village are actually disturbing me. Really, when I start things, I don't finish them off. I'm a very, very good finisher and a bad finisher, a bad ender. When I start projects, I don't complete them. Now, as I'm talking to you now, ask yourself, what are those things you've actually started and you are yet to complete them? Many people today, we are having that problem whereby we'll start things and we cannot complete them. Let productivity be a driving value that actually drives whatever you want to do. Now, and I realize this thing actually worked for me. When I want to start something, the first thing is I try to look at what is the end product of this thing I'm about to do. That product you are building, that services you are about rendering, imagine you are already rendering that service to people. Start thinking about it. Before you get into the input of it, think about the output. The only thing that separates the dreamers and the achievers is productivity. Now, number two, impact. Once upon a time, around the last EDC Pop Award, we were talking about my brothers, about the paparazzi and the matters that actually happened. And I actually asked them something. Really, it is very, very critical. If you follow the Nigerian entertainment industry, I asked him one certain question. The Olamides of this world, the Terry G's of this world, would you like your unborn child to actually meet this kind of songs? The answer was just a resounding no. Now, the reason for him actually declining for his unborn child not to meet this kind of song is because of the impact those songs actually laid onto them. Now, I'm not talking about the voices. I'm not talking about the melodies and the effect on your emotions. I'm not talking about the economy and how these guys actually make money and as well contribute back to the GDP that is the music industry. What is the impact of that particular song, the sound? Now, what you're doing today, you might be productive about it. After all, the Olamides and the Terijis are productive. But really, what is the impact of that thing they are doing? What is the impact of your products? What is the impact of what you do in your organization today? What is your impact to the sustenance and the success of your organization? You as a boss, what is your impact to your employees, your staff? What is your impact on them? Now, I do like to use 3 things to actually gauge impact whenever I talk about impact. The first thing is this: what is the positive and the negative effect? When you check it out, that thing that you're doing, does it have more positive effect or it has more negative effect? Number 1. Number 2, if it has more positive effect to you, does that mean it has more negative effect to many people? After all, those guys sing and they reap their money and they make more money for themselves. So you could make more profit from what you are doing, but does that have more negative effect to people in the society? Number 3, when you look about it, does that positive effect that thing is going to give to you today, what is the future advantage of it? So when you're doing something or you're in the capacity to actually deploy resources for yourself, you need to ask yourself, that thing that I'm going to do today, does the immediate positive effect is quite lesser compared to the future advantage? You need to look at these 3 things. Now, if you compare them, then you know that impact is actually key. Now, let's take it forward. I'm still going to use the music industry to use. Now, I'm going to talk about the 3rd value now, which is sustainability. Sustainability. Now, let me actually use the same word like I said, the music industry. Let's talk about some of these artists. 2Face, the King Sunny Ade's, the Ebenezer Obey's, the Victor Waifos. Let's even talk about from 2000 downward, the Ashas, the Tiwa Bello. Now, when you mention these names, as I have said, today, tomorrow, some of their songs will still be sung or will still be played, and you will still like to listen to them. Now, let's take it backward. Would you like to listen to the likes of the song from the Marvelous Benjis, the Tony Tetulas? I don't know. What kind of impact can you get from those songs if they are played today apart from the melody? Now, one thing that actually separates good song from the bad song is as a result of the sustainability those people think about. When they were recording those songs then, they were thinking about what kind of song can generation and upon generation actually listen to and still remember us. Now, let's take it to the corporate world. The Microsoft, Guinness, Nigerians, Sony. Think about those old products you could ever think of. Even the Facebook we have today is over 10 years. Sustainability is one of the key values that actually drive the owners of this organization when they start. So you as yourself, that action plan you have, that project you want to start, that entrepreneurship, that organization of yours, is this sustenance? Sustainability is another thing you need to imbibe as a core value. Number 4, accountability. Resourcefulness is the key to get more resources. Now, a lot of people today, we have things that could actually make us to get more and more things. But the only problem we lack is that we are not accountable for those things we actually have. Now, you realize today, if I ask you, for the little days you've spent in 2016, are you accountable for those kinds of strategizing? Now, let's also take it to the next level. When we talk about accountability, you have been involved in saving money for a whole year, and you've been doing that almost every year. The question I'm going to ask you is this: how are you accountable with that saving of yours? Really, in that organization you have, they've given you more opportunities with it, more referrals. How have you grown your network? Now, the only thing that could actually get you or aid you in accountability is for you to learn that 1, how do you keep up with your finances? Number 2, how do you grow your network and your referrals? Number 3, how are you transparent with what you do in your organization? You are a leader, regardless of your position or your status, and I expect you to start behaving like a leader. Let's have a recap of those core values that actually drive success. Number 1, productivity. Number 2, impact. Number 3, sustainability. Number 4, accountability and transparency. I expect you to take these core values and take it as part of the things you could imbibe into yourself, your life, your corporate organization, and everywhere you go. I believe you can be what you want to be and reach your world.